What is up, Light Fam? Welcome to another video. My name is David, your spiritual awakening coach, here to help you through your spiritual awakening. Today's video is going to be all about divine feminine. I've made a couple of divine masculine energy videos in the past. So divine masculine energy, what is it, how to balance it. I've also made a video on how to heal wounded masculine energy as well. Both of those videos I'll link in the description below so that you can check those out. But after those videos, I got a lot of requests to make a video on the divine feminine energy. Divine feminine energy is so important for your spiritual path. It's actually impossible to grow spiritually if your divine feminine energy does not have space to express itself and flourish. And I'm going to explain why that is. So we're going to get into what is divine feminine energy and how to balance and activate your divine feminine energy. Now, one thing I do want to mention is these Lightways lives have been a lot of fun. We've been having a lot of high energy in the chats. So if you have not checked out the Lightways live streams, I'm going to link those videos in the description. Last week was all about the dark night of the soul. I know a lot of you guys are going through this. So if you're in the dark night of the soul and you need the owner's manual on what the heck it is and how the heck to get out of it, go check out last week's live on the dark night of the soul. I just called it Dark Night of the Soul Advice. And I've timestamped all of the chapters so you can find what you're looking for immediately and get the help that you need. Anyway, let's get into this video, which is the divine feminine. Let's go right now. Divine feminine and divine masculine. We all have aspects of both. Yes, all of us, regardless of gender. We've got to get away from this concept of trying to attach your gender to your dominant energetic signature. These are just energetic signatures. They have nothing to do with gender. We say masculine and feminine to just identify two opposite ends of the energetic spectrum. I'll have guys reach out to me for coaching and, they want to become more spiritual. And I start talking about divine feminine energy. They're like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm a manly man. We don't do that feminine stuff. So get away from the gender thing. Actually, if your divine feminine energy is in balance and divine masculine is what you consider to be your dominant frequency, you'll actually be a healthy, balanced divine masculine if your divine feminine energy is balanced. So let's get away from this whole gender thing. I can't tell you how many twin flame videos I've seen where a male is discussing his twin flame story and he's clearly divine feminine. Like there's no question, but he's referring to himself as divine masculine just because he's male. It doesn't work that way. So these are two different energetic signatures and both of them are very necessary to live a balanced life. This is yin and yang. The universe loves balance. And notice when you look at that yin and yang symbol, it's not a straight line. It's not 50-50. They both are in each other's space, right? One is more dominant than the other in the other one's space and vice versa. And they're kind of intertwined because both are needed for balance to complete the whole, complete the circle, to be a whole system, to be complete. So this is one thing that we have to keep in mind. But let's get into what divine masculine energy actually is so that you can understand how important it is that you ground it, strengthen it, and amplify it. Divine feminine. So what is the divine feminine energy? What are the traits of the divine feminine? So the traits of the divine feminine are compassion, understanding, presence, going within. It's nurturing energy, motherly energy, creative energy, healing energy. It's going within and getting centered in the present moment in a state of receptivity energy. This is why I said earlier it's impossible to grow spiritually if your divine feminine energy is not allowed to express itself, because the only way to grow spiritually is to go within. Masculine energy is very outward driven, it's action. Feminine energy is non-action, it's non-doing. So the only way to grow is to go within, and that's where you have to accentuate your divine feminine energy. I also said that it's healing energy. So if you need to heal, you don't want to be in your masculine energy. Masculine energy does not sit with emotions and ask, what is this emotion trying to teach me? Divine masculine energy is not present. Divine masculine energy is driving forward with a plan, and the end destination is on the divine masculine's agenda. So the only way to grow spiritually is to go within. This is where shadow work comes from. Now, it's a very interesting word, shadow, because if we look at the yin and yang symbol, yin is the divine feminine, and that's the dark energy. That's the black energy on the yin and yang symbol. So if you're fearing the darkness, are you fearing getting to know yourself? Are you fearing facing those emotions? Emotions is also divine feminine. So this is a very interesting concept, because the only way that you can heal is to accentuate your divine feminine energy and do the shadow work. Go into the shadow, go into the darkness, go into that divine feminine energy. We got to stop vilifying the darkness. I've said this in many videos. We vilify the darkness. We're programmed to vilify the darkness, mostly from religion, and then Hollywood jumps on the bandwagon with anything dark is bad. But no, that's not true. Darkness is the divine feminine energy, and that's where the healing takes place. That's where the presence takes place. You can't grow spiritually unless you are present. This is something that I see a lot with people that are in twin flame separation. So one twin has ran the DM runner to the divine masculine runner, and the DF is wondering, what can I do to get my divine masculine back? So they're very much in their head, they're very much in their mind, they're very much in their ego. The mind is the energetic house of the ego. The mind is also the energetic house of masculine energy. So it's very much action oriented. What can I do to get this person back? Well, you're applying masculine energy to try to get masculine energy. So, and usually it's wounded masculine energy. That's the problem. You're overreacting, overanalyzing, overthinking what you need to do. You're in the wrong energy. You got to amplify your divine feminine energy. Go within, heal what may have caused your DM to run in the first place. If there's wounded masculine energy, in other words, you're being way too over controlling, way too needy, way too clingy, that wounded masculine energy is going to chase someone with healthy divine masculine energy out of your energetic space. I can tell you, as a divine masculine, I can't share the same space with wounded masculine energy. It's very off-putting, and I would get you out of my space quickly. So look at your own energy. And how do you do that? You amplify your divine feminine energy and go within. What energy are you putting out that may have caused your DM to run? Now, this is not a twin flame video, so I'm not going to go further down that rabbit hole, but divine feminine energy is healing energy. You've got to heal what's in the shadow to get balanced so that your divine feminine energy has room, and all that masculine wounded energy can make a little bit of space for some healthy divine feminine energy. Divine feminine and divine masculine, these two energies need to be balanced. So when I say balanced, I don't mean a 50-50 split. Very few people have a 50-50 split. Usually one energetic signature is more dominant than the other. So how do you know which energy frequency is your dominant frequency? So this video is about the divine feminine. So let's discuss divine feminine. How do you know if divine feminine is your dominant frequency? Well, do you prefer to be more protected and do less of the protecting? Do you prefer to be more provided for and do less of the providing? Do you prefer someone else to kind of handle the strategizing and game plan and the action, and you play a little bit more of a supportive role. Well, if that's the case, then your dominant frequency is divine feminine. Now, again, this has nothing to do with gender. There are a ton of females that naturally step into that role of protector and provider and game planner and strategist and all of that. And it's a very natural thing. And it's not a wounded masculine energy thing. It's just their natural dominant frequency. So I just want to reiterate, this has nothing to do with gender, because it's hard for our brains to detach from that concept. So if you're having problems in your relationship, someone's energy might be out of balance, meaning either you have wounded masculine energy or you're sharing the same space with your dominant frequency, meaning you have to, let's say your dominant frequency is divine feminine, you have to turn your masculine energy way up, making it out of balance masculine energy, wounded masculine energy, to take care of, which you wish your partner were taking care of, but that's not that person's dominant frequency. So if you're a divine feminine, you may be sharing the same space with another divine feminine, and that might be the root of the problem. Or you might have wounded masculine energy from childhood. Remember, the ego puts in the shadow what it believes is not necessary for survival. So maybe as a kid, you learned that turning that masculine energy way up and being that provider and that protector and that strategist was necessary for survival, maybe due to an absentee caregiver or caregivers. And so you carried that into adulthood, into all of your relationships. And that wounded masculine energy is very much a survival, fight or flight survival mechanism, which is a state of resistance. And that's going to cause a lot of turmoil in your relationships, because if you're trying to share the same space with someone that has healthy divine masculine energy as their dominant frequency, you're going to be in their lane, and it's going to be very hard for you guys to share the same space. This is where you need to dial up that divine feminine energy, and you want to use feminine energy, which means giving attention, feminine energy, and being present, feminine energy, to the emotions, feminine energy, that need your attention, that need healing. Healing is feminine energy. So if you're out of balance, you may need to accentuate your divine feminine to find balance and peace in your relationships. Now, before I move on to how to activate divine feminine energy, I want to leave one last caveat here on relationships. If you are having an issue in your relationship and you feel that you may have wounded masculine energy, meaning your partner is divine masculine and you're kind of in his lane, you're over protecting, over analyzing, over reacting to everything, your partner most likely has trapped energy. Energy loves to move, energy hates to be trapped, and trapped energy will always find a way to express itself, usually in a very destructive, chaotic manner. This is where infidelity can come in, addictions, escapism. So you really want to sit down with your partner, and communication is the key. Provide a space of non-judgment and ask your partner, hey, am I in your lane? Do you want to do more of the providing? Do you want to do more of the planning? Do you want to do more of the strategizing and more of the action? And you want to reiterate a place of non-judgment, because if you have wounded masculine energy, you are defensive about everything. You overreact about everything. You blow everything out of proportion. That's wounded masculine energy. And if that's all that person has ever known, they believe that's what they're going to get if they're honest with you. So reiterate a space of non-judgment and sink into that divine feminine energy. Divine feminine energy is compassionate. Divine feminine energy is understanding. Divine feminine energy is empathetic. Divine feminine energy is centered in the present moment, not taking things personally, and open to communication. And you just might find that you have someone with you that wants to do all of the things that you want that person to do for you, because you want to step into that divine feminine role and be the nurturer while the other person is the doer and planner. How to activate the divine feminine, heal wounded masculine energy. Wounded masculine energy is a survival state of fight or flight where you're overly protective, overly reactive, overly defensive. You're hyper vigilant for anything that could be perceived as a threat, and typically you'll make things a threat that actually are not a threat. So when you go within divine feminine and you do the shadow work that caused the wounded masculine energy in the first place, then that wounded masculine energy subsides naturally. You only have so much space in your energetic field, and if you've got wounded masculine energy hogging up all that space, then the divine feminine energy is not able to share the same space and flourish and express itself naturally. Even if divine feminine is not your dominant frequency, maybe divine masculine is your dominant frequency, but if you have it turned up way past where it needs to be, then there's no space for that divine feminine energy to grant you the peace and the presence and the clarity and the inner growth that you need to live a life of peace and happiness. One of the traits of wounded masculine energy is being overprotective. Why would you feel that you need to be overprotected? Well, you don't feel safe. Safety issues have to do with the inner child. So you can look into inner child work when you're wanting to activate your divine feminine. When the inner child feels safe, then that overprotectiveness of the wounded masculine energy subsides. And the divine feminine now has room to come to the surface. So the inner child has to do with the root chakra. That's the energetic house of your inner child. So you can actually look up guided meditations on how to balance, ground, and strengthen your root chakra. And there's also a lot of inner child work techniques that you can also look up on YouTube as well. But once that feeling of safety returns, that overprotective trait of wounded masculine energy will subside. How to activate the divine feminine? Well, remember we said that the divine masculine's energetic house is the mind. Well, the energetic house of the divine feminine is the heart. Now, if you guys are one of my clients, then you know I teach you the meditative practice of bringing in that white light and just exploding that heart chakra into this big giant green sun. This is what you want to do. You want to open and activate that heart chakra with the intention of activating your divine feminine energy. And again, this moves you out of that fight or flight. If we think about how the chakras are aligned, those bottom three chakras are more in alignment with survival, safety, protection. If you're overly feeling the need to be protected and you're feeling unsafe, those bottom three chakras need to be grounded. But how do you reach the top three higher consciousness chakras? Through the heart space. So this is why I said earlier, if you're not in your divine feminine energy, you can't grow spiritually because you can't reach higher consciousness, because higher consciousness is reached through love. Once you start moving into the higher states of consciousness, you get out of alignment with the things that are in the lower chakras that are in alignment with survival, things in alignment with fear, lack, scarcity, competition. You move out of being in alignment with those things, which means you don't feel the need to be in that wounded masculine energy to survive, and you start living a life of peace and ease. You attract. Feminine energy is attract energy. It's non-action. You are attracting what you are within. The universe is mirroring that back to you. Masculine energy is very much go out and build it from scratch and, do all of this work. And there's a balance there. You're going to need to do some type of physical action, masculine energy, to receive what it is that you're wanting to attract. But the largest portion of bringing what you want comes from attraction, and you get a high magnetic attraction from being grounded in your divine feminine energy. There's a lot of guided meditations on YouTube for opening up the heart chakra, so definitely check those out as well. How to activate the divine feminine? Try not acting, not controlling, and see if you die. Here's what I mean by that. Remember, we said wounded masculine energy is overacting, over controlling, fear mongering, overly defensive. So what would happen if you didn't take those actions? Would you die? Look for places in your life where you can practice non-action and surrender, and then practice it, and then see, did you die? And if you didn't die, you're physically demonstrating to that wounded masculine energy that there is no threat. It can actually calm the heck down and make some space for that divine feminine energy to get you centered in a state of peace and clarity. When you're trying to control everything, control is resistance. Resistance is trapped energy. Trapped energy is frustration and confusion, and you're going to make yourself miserable. So usually the thing that you are trying your hardest to control is the thing that you need to let go of the most. Yeah, you know that one's going to be said again. Usually the thing that you're trying your hardest to control is the thing that you need to let go of the most. So let go of it and see if you die. That which is meant for you cannot pass you. How to activate the divine feminine? Well, who is the epitome of divine feminine energy? Mother Gaia. Get out into nature, guys. One of my favorite things to do is to practice earthing. This is where you take your shoes off and walk barefoot through the grass, or maybe in a stream. The science behind it is usually we have too many positive ions. The earth drinks that up. The earth is full of negative ions. You soak up the negative ions through the earth, the soil, and this gets you into energetic homeostasis. It grounds you. So definitely look up earthing or grounding. But nature is so healing. What is healing? Feminine energy. You want to activate that divine feminine energy. Get out into nature with the intention of activating that divine feminine energy. Mother Gaia is so healing. Another thing that you can do is moon gaze. Now, we said that in that yin and yang, yin is the dark energy. So night is represented by feminine energy. The moon is feminine energy. I see a lot of you guys on IG with your little full moon rituals and all that. Well, a full moon ritual is bringing in that divine feminine energy. The thing about balancing your energies is that the best of those energies are able to express themselves. Both the best of those energies are needed in your life. There's nothing capricious in the universe. Both energies are needed. The attributes of both energies are needed. And when one energy is not in the other energy's lane, both energies are able to give you the best of both worlds, and then you're balanced. When you're out of balance, that's where all of the chaos is, because you have trapped energy of the repressed energetic signature that's not allowed to express itself, and then it will express itself through chaos and calamity, which you don't want. So make sure that you guys are balancing your energies. And again, balancing does not mean a 50-50 split. It means discovering what is your dominant frequency and then healing what is out of alignment with that frequency. How to activate the divine feminine? Get creative. Remember, divine feminine is that motherly energy. What do mothers do? They create things. They create life, right? They create life. So maybe that divine feminine energy creates art, or maybe it creates music, or maybe it creates a new project, a project that is in alignment with your heart, divine feminine energetic house, right? So you can really step into your divine feminine by getting creative, especially from your heart space. And again, that doesn't have to be your dominant frequency, but you're giving it space to flourish so that you can be balanced and live a life of peace and ease, a life of receptivity and not a life of resistance. All right, guys. So first we're going to do quote of the day, and then we're going to do question of the day. So here's today's high vibrational quote. Now, question of the day. How do you guys balance your divine feminine energy? Leave those comments below so we can all learn from one another on how to balance and activate the divine feminine. Again, if you're having trouble with the Dark Night of the Soul, you need an owner's manual to get through the daggone Dark Night of the Soul. Check out last week's live Dark Night of the Soul advice. That is the Lightways live stream. Having a lot of fun with that guy, with that, and interacting with you guys. I'm not even going to edit that out. I'm going to keep that one. Having a lot of fun interacting with you guys in the chat. So I really appreciate all of you guys for showing up, and I appreciate all of you guys that have been watching on the replay that aren't able to show up. I love all of the support that I get from you guys. So that is it. We are doing another Lightways live this Friday, 9:30 a.m. Pacific. So I will see all of you guys there as well. And I will see all of my beautiful light fam in the next video. Light, love, and abundance to all that are watching, and to all you love. Peace, guys.